We talked about the difference between agents and directors, and we said an agent attracts a commission, but a director is paid a remuneration. We pay them for services rendered, and it becomes a debt that is not contingent on the company earning sufficient profits to pay it, unless there's a service agreement or the company's articles that say if the company did not earn enough, we will forego paying the directors' fees up until we make profits and pay them. So what we are saying is it's an obligation of the company to pay the directors, whether or not the company is making profits or not, whether surplus earnings have been received by the company. And unless the articles or we have an agreement that you as a director, you have signed that agreement that if the company will not make profits this year, then you'll not be paid. Again, if the articles do not provide for this remuneration, the articles must be amended. And where these articles do not provide for remuneration, directors are entitled to be indemnified by the company against the expenses that were incurred in carrying out their functions. So this means where the articles do not provide, then any activity done on behalf of the company is deemed to be that of the company. So this director will not suffer any loss. The difference between that and being reimbursed your expenses by the company, you'll only be reimbursed in as much as your activities were within the guidelines. Your activities were allowed under the articles, under the act. When you are indemnified, your actions are taken to be those of the company. So you suffer no loss. Again, we talked about the appointment of directors. So if a director is not properly appointed, he cannot claim remuneration to which a director is entitled to, even though he believes himself to have been properly appointed. But he's entitled to a small sum quantifiable on the work he has done. So we talk about the register of directors. Again, every company will keep a register having one, the number of directors that are there, the description and amount of shares or debentures. These registers that are kept at the company's registered office and at the register of companies, where they show what the company does, who is in charge of what for the company. This list of the number of directors, the number of years they have served, the number of years they have been re-elected, what is their term, when is it coming to an end. It shall be kept at the company's registered office and shall be open to inspection during business hours. This register also shows the nature and extent of a director's interest in any shares or debentures. And you remember we talked about the register being closed to enable dividends to be declared and to be given out. So this as well acts. When the AGM is coming, the register is closed to enable the company to carry out the business it intends to at the AGM. Once that business is done, it shall be opened again to the public within the business hours. If the company is said to operate between 8 and 5, then within 8 and 5. If between 9 and 4:30, we again use business hours, because some things cannot be enforced by law. You're led to do your things in your own ways. So Section 191 provides that it shall not be lawful for a company to make any person who is its director or director of its holding company to enter into any guarantee or provide any security in connection with a loan made to such a person as that. It basically prohibits a director from having a loan with the company. But again, the exemptions, and they say the restriction does not apply to anything done by a company for the time being a private company, and anything done to provide any such person with funds to meet expenditure incurred or manned by him for the purposes of the company, or enabling him to properly perform his duties as an officer. And if a company is in the ordinary business of lending money or giving guarantees in connection with persons, with loans made by other persons, and this lending, when it is done, an approval at the AGM with the purpose of the expenditure, the amount of the loan, the extent of the guarantee or security as disclosed. So what we are saying, Section 191 prohibits. You're not supposed to loan directors money from the company. But if the company is in the business of lending out money, that is its core function, then the restriction does not apply. Again, where the director is using money, as we have said, to further conduct the affairs of the company, again, the restrictions do not apply.